So I hired my first team, and somehow with an info business, I was in the red for 90 days in a row. No profits, right? Second attempt at building the team worked well for a while, and then it imploded into 100 zillion pieces. And then my third attempt went from adding 10K MRR in 100 days to 10K MRR in 10 days to 10K in 1 day. And the difference between each of those was the systems that we had and my skill level, honestly. So if you're a fitness creator with like 10K plus followers, you're posting consistently, but you're like busy, you're doing all this shit, or you're a back-end operator for any coach, any niche, and you're drowning in tasks and it's time to hire, right? This video is for you. But if you are just getting started with no audience, you have no lead flow and no clue how to coach or to market yourself, then you should probably come back to this video later because you need clients before you need a team, period. Like, most fitness creators or operators trying to scale are just like throwing bodies at problems like I did at first. Like they'll just hire a VA, social media manager, maybe a salesperson with zero systems, zero training, zero clarity, and they wonder why everything explodes, why the cash flow turns negative, and why you're just working harder than before you even had a team, right? And I've been in that exact spot. I've made every hiring mistake possible. I've watched good businesses implode because of bad teams, right? And I've learned that without the right systems, more people means more problems. So, you know, I'm in Bali right now, and honestly, I'm chilling. Like, I'm gonna go to the sauna cold plunge after this, just like every other entrepreneur who has also figured out systems at my gym. Like, there's a lot of them, and that's why in this video, let me show you what I'm gonna cover. So, we're going to cover who to hire, how to find A players, how to interview, how to onboard and train, which is super important to having the first 48 hours dialed, how to set up simple systems, which is going to be key, how to communicate with your team, how to set up feedback loops to grow your business on autopilot. So I'm giving you literally the details. So the first 3 hires to make, and in what order, my actual job posting templates that attract A players and ruthless animals, the interview scripts I literally use to filter out 99% of applicants, my exact 48-hour onboarding process and training slideshow, every single slide, how to set up your Slack, literally channel by channel, the feedback loops specifically, right? This is the exact system that took us from 10K in 100 days to 10K in 1 day. And I'm sure you've heard the quote, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. But you need to know how to go together, or else you will just crash and burn. So let's get into it. So if you're a fitness coach or you're an operator, this is how you should structure your V1 of your team. All you really need is, number one, you should be doing high ticket. You should not be focused on a low ticket MRR period because it's just so much fulfillment for so little money. Even no matter what audience size you have, you're better off doing high ticket. And so what you need is an appointment setter in the DMs, you need a closer, and you need a coach because you don't want to be stuck doing all the fulfillment by yourself. And I have processes for each of these that I'll show you. How do you find A players? Because if you just go like hire any old person, they'll probably just make your life worse. So you need to actually find good people. And if you have an audience, you're probably going to have some operators in your audience. And I'll have the job interview description so that you make sure that they're actually good. But you can just make a post in your story like, I'm looking for an operator, I'm looking for a closer. I'll give you rev share, or I'll give you the on the ends like 3K to 10K a month for a closer, right? And then say like DM me the word apply and I'll send you an application. Okay? Send them an application, right? I think you're smart enough to figure that part out. Like, super simple, get their information, and then make sure that you ask them to give you a 60-second to 90-second loom. Because a lot of people, if they're too lazy to give you a minute of their time, they're not worth having on your team. So it also just shows basic compliance. Like, a lot of people will apply and just not give you a loom. And then you're like, what? You can't even follow my basic instructions? So once you have some applicants, send them a Calendly link. Don't just say, what time works for you? No, give them a link. It's way faster. You need to move with speed, right? And keep in mind that a top operator, right, like someone who's doing the back end for you, they care way more about the quality of your audience than the quantity. So if you have 10K followers, right, but you are hyper niche down, you have made specific content talking to a specific person for a year, and you have built this audience, someone like me would see that as like a 7-figure pipeline equity. Like, holy shit, that's crazy good. I would highly consider working with you, right? But don't think just because you have 500K followers, that's going to attract a truly A player operator, right? If they're all brain rot idiots who don't have anything to do with what you want to sell. So that's just important when you're considering like attracting good talent, right? Like, people, are opportunists to some degree, and you just have to make sure that your offer to them is good, right? That you have a valuable audience that they can help you extract value from. If you don't have like a big audience, or you're still looking for operators, join school groups for fitness, for coaches, marketing, entrepreneurship. You'll find operators in there, right? And post by saying you want to start doing high ticket, because that will attract a good person. If you say, I just want to start a $30 community, you're going to attract a 14-year-old saying, I'll do it for 70% rev share. Okay. So people who are good at this are already doing high ticket. Like, they don't care about low ticket exclusively, right? Same with a closer. Join school groups for sales. And for the appointment center and the coach, we've actually used Upwork. And Upwork has actually been great. Like, there's a ton of super, super smart people on there. And we've actually made some mistakes with how we attract people. I'll kind of zoom in on these in a second, but make your job post with high standards. And before you even start hiring, you need to think about the culture that you want on your team. If you're an info company or a coaching fitness company, do you think you're going to get to 100K a month by being like loosey-goosey? Just kind of like, yeah, we're just like vibing over here. It's just like this kind of chill. We're all super nice. Nah, like, we're here to make money. And obviously, being a good leader, you can be very kind, but you still need to have harsh standards, and like, you need to just always have the frame that this is a serious place where we're making money and having fun doing it, right? But like, this is why we made our job descriptions very specific, right? High performance appointment center wanted no lazy people, because you'd be surprised. There's quite a few of them. Are you hungry for success? Are you willing to outwork everyone and make you serious money? Are you willing? We're looking for an absolute killer to join our team as an appointment center for our elite fitness coaching program. This is not a 9-to-5 job. If you're looking for something comfortable, don't even bother applying. This is for someone who wants to grind, push their limits, and work, right? So what we expect from them, we're really targeting a specific type of person, right? What we will offer them in return, right? Obviously, uncapped earning potential. And yeah, we're just trying to weed out people with this more aggressive kind of motivational, like, this is serious. And there's a lot of people who just want an hourly rate, but we're trying to find people who want commission. There's two different types of appointment setters on Upwork. There's the people who think that commission based is risky, and it's not hourly, that's risky, that's scary, and you don't want to waste your time on calls with these people who you're like, okay, it's commission based, and they're like, oh, but hourly. No. Then there's a whole other type of person who's like, I just want unlimited potential to earn money. And that's who you want on your team, because they're going to be booking appointments for you all day long, right? Now, with a coach, we have an accountability coach on our team. It's not directly attached to revenue as much as a sales position. It's very important, right? Having a good product is very important. So we're looking for a little bit different things here. We're looking for people who are detail oriented, who can just master their tasks, right? We have some AI in our systems, like building diet plans and stuff. So this is our job post. You can kind of pause it if you want and read this. Wanted someone with like experience, and yeah. So that's kind of how you hire these 4 people, right? If you're the creator, you might want to just hire the operator. Hire one to hire many, and then you can give your operator this video and they can go from there. And feel free to copy, obviously, all my stuff. So, how to interview. The most important thing, like, listen loud and clear, okay? Before you start interviewing, what's most important is your frame and your standards, because it's selecting the right people. It's really like, if you have the right standards and the right frame, then you can just kind of go based on the vibe, because you're seeing the world through the lens of your expectations and standards. Because like, it is really going to be about feeling out the person, if they're going to be a good fit for the culture, a good fit for the team. But if that culture and fit is dog shit, then that's the problem, right? It's not the people, it's you. So have that set up, have that set in your mind, and you will just make the right choices, right? So here's how I would interview people. And obviously, again, you can pause, you can use these, but for an operator, what you need to do is quickly weed out people who overthink, who just spin ideas, they're just spinning in their wheels, right? And glue eaters, just like people who are just biz op, like, oh, drop shipping, oh, Amazon FBA, because you don't want that kid on your team, right? A lot of entrepreneurs, including myself, have ADHD, but I think the biggest difference is like I know a lot of people who are very successful and because they channel their ADHD hyperfocus into one direction and to overcome challenges over and over instead of just opportunity hopping. That is what you need on your team. Someone maybe who's autistic or ADHD, honestly, who is a dialer, they're just obsessed because that like I go to these mastermind events and probably like 80% of them are neurodivergent and just weird. Okay? Like actually, that's actual sauce. And people agree. Like at a company that had a mastermind event, WAP, they're like, yeah, we try to hire neurodivergent people. So like actually keep that in mind. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna go into too much depth. You can kind of pause it and read this or screenshot and use later, but this is just the kind of thing like you need to actually be vetting for experience, right? If this kid comes on and he's talking all big and like he's done all this shit, but he actually like hasn't gotten results, he hasn't monetized a fitness coach or any coach, it's not worth your time. Like you are not a charity, you are not a college where you're just like letting people learn. I would just skip to someone who actually knows what they're doing, right? Way more worth your time. For the accountability coach, same kind of thing, right? Warm up, just kind of break the ice a little bit. Um, ask what they're interested in. I had this guy come on an interview. I was like, so what kind of stood out to you about the job? And he's like, well, I'm actually in college and I'm looking to be a software engineer and I want to make a little extra money. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking, bro? Who do you think you are? Get off this call. Like, stop wasting my time, right? And then I had another guy, the guy who came on and is actually on our team, and he's like, yeah, I've been like into fitness my whole life. Like, I love supporting my friends and like, just helping coach people. I've been really itching to kind of join a fitness operation like this. I'm like, okay, go on, go on. Then skills and experience, texting communication style. You don't want some like person who has bad English being like, sir, how are you today? How are you today? Sir, ma'am, sir. Like, find someone who's actually good at English. They exist. You can get them for $3 to $5 an hour, right? Red flags and conflicts. You don't want people who are just a mess or who have other, interfering things. And this is for the setter and closer, right? You're really looking for people who are coachable because you're going to be training them, right? They need to just be trainable. It doesn't matter as much whether they have like specific experience in fitness. If they have closing experience, they're going to be just fine. Like make sure that they've closed a lot of money, see how much they've actually closed, see how long they've been doing it, and yeah. So next, how to onboard and train. So this is so important, so important. Okay, the first 48 hours determine the success of that employee for the rest of the time they're with your company. So this is where the standards are set, the culture is set, the expectations are set, and the authority frame of you is set, right? So right after hiring, as soon as you hire them, schedule a call to train them, right? Like, don't say what time works for you. Send them a link and say show up 15 minutes early. Like, this is, be ready. Make sure your Wi-Fi is good. Make sure your desk is cleared off. Make sure your tabs are closed. We're going to be training, right? Set that standard because they're here to do a good job. Next, go over the slideshow. Again, I'm not going to go into too much depth. You can pause and check this out, but this is what we use for our slideshow to kind of like onboard people, right? We go over our mission and core values. This is the job for the accountability coach, right? We had our accountability coach kind of doing some back end stuff as well, like handling cancellations, all that. But check it out. And see here, look at this. This is how we kind of set the standard and the culture. Like, this is not just some kind of job where you're putting fries in a bag. This is where you push yourself to be the best person you can possibly be, not just for us, but for every single person who walks through our virtual doors and for who you are. Like, this business is an expression of who we believe ourselves to be. And so we need you to bring that same energy. Like, if you are being lazy, that's disrespecting the expression of who we are, right? That's from the book E-Myth. Check out that book, E-Myth, very good about systemizing and culture. Again, we try to make it a game, a challenge. Like, this is, you're here to actually have fun and like do your job as well as you can. Try to do it better every single day and to create an unforgettable experience, right? Like, this whole thing is about the customer. We're trying to make it as amazing as we possibly can. And your job is bigger than the work. You're contributing to something greater than yourself, right? So then I kind of go into the details of how we use AppRabbit. I kind of preface how we're going to do systems, which I'm going to get into in a couple minutes here. And then hygiene standards. Like, this company, we don't want you to have a million zillion tabs open, right? The only tabs open when you're working should be these. And they should be open as needed because it's just going to make you faster. It's going to save us money and you wasted cognitive energy. We have the reporting system, which I'll also give you in 1 minute, and a recap, right? Do what you do. We chose you because you have a great personality and sense of what a job well done looks like for you. Keep being you, right? Just kind of an overview. But yeah, like this right here, I tried doing hiring without something like this, and what happened is I just threw them in the deep end, and they failed at their job, and I was like, what the hell? I'm gonna fight, like, these guys suck. And it wasn't their fault. It was my fault for not setting any standard, any culture, any systems, right? So next is like how to actually set up your systems. This is the sauce, okay? If you don't know what a system is, this is what a system is, right? You have an input, the person, they do their process, the task, and they get an output and the feedback, right? That is the loop of a self-improving system. So one mistake that a lot of people make is they have there's one system in their Google Docs, one system in their Slack, one system on a Trello board, one system in Notion. I would literally, if I were you, and you were trying to keep your life as simple and awesome as possible, I would make a brand new Notion account and have one page called Systems, which I'll show you how I organize it. Nothing else. Keep everything in one place, right? There's a book called Systemology, which talks about this. It's actually kind of a lead magnet for their system software, but one place, one central location, organize all the same. That's so important, okay? And this is how I organize our systems, right? At the top of our page is based on the job position. So we have our accountability coach, operations specialist, we have our closer, and we have our setter. 3 things. No fancy text, nothing crazy. Inside the job position are the tasks, right? And look, we literally keep it as simple as possible. We don't like break it down into all these 1,000 little things because we actually want people to like follow these systems. They're just, a system is a checklist. Step 1, step 2, right? So we have all their systems. Like what the accountability coach does, he's responsible for onboarding. He's responsible for creating the diet plan. He texts people, he cancels them, and he submits his end of day report. It's the same for the closer and the setter, right? Literally at bare minimum. And this is enough. This is enough, right? Next is the actual tasks, right? So if you click into a task, we don't have some long doc of just like gross shit. It's easy to use ChatGPT to organize this. And I make toggle items because it reduces the cognitive load. It actually makes it way easier. And once they're done with that task, they can close that toggle, which is kind of like a mini dopamine hit, right? You want to keep it looking simple so it's not this like 20-page thing where it's like, oh my God, I have to read this whole thing. Look how simple this looks, right? And then they can click on one, expand it, and yeah. So, how to communicate. We use Slack. When someone's new to our team, we do like daily calls to check in because a lot of times you'll just have like problems show up. totally normal and you just want to be getting feedback, right? Going back to that systems diagram, the faster that you get this feedback, the faster you can improve this overall system and the better outputs you can get. So, especially in the beginning when you're first testing out a system, you need to have that feedback dialed. So, I would encourage as much communication as you can. It's not micromanaging, right? Like you are working with that person and you can set that standard. Like, look, my expectation of you is to like work hard and do your best, but just know that like this system is new and I expect to have feedback. I expect to also get feedback as a leader because I'm also a human being. So I always want to be better at my job too. And I expect you to kind of tell me that, right? And you can ask them like any feedback from me, right? But I'd say the biggest and most important part of our communications that I wish I would have known sooner is end of day reports. So we have a single channel specifically for the end of day report for the closer, for the setter, and the accountability coach. And in the report, what you should do is you should put every task that needs to be done daily, right? And we also use this kind of separate tab where they can have that template. This is literally the accountability system. Like this is how you make sure your employees are doing their job. That's it. Like I'd say this is probably the most important part of a team system because you do not want to be micromanaging and going, did you do this today? Did you do this today? But if they have to submit this and consciously write out each one of these, they're going to know, oh shit, I forgot to check the emails, right? Oh no. So these cancellations are because we used to have like a low ticket MRR subscription thing, and we've kind of taken the gas off the pedal on that to go more high ticket stuff. So we'll just have like slow trickles of people wanting to cancel. That's fine. We just have him handle that, right? So yeah, we also have important links there. And this is very important to communicate this during training. Like if you fail to submit your end of day report, that is considered failure to meet expectations, and a couple of those and you'll just be done. Like people respect that. Like they're not gonna be like, wow, you're such a dick for saying you'd fire me if I didn't do my job well. No, like make sure you say like if you don't do your job, you're gonna be done. That's just how this works, right? So next, how to set up feedback loops. Again, like the end of day report is the best feedback loop for seeing how things are working, right? If they have any questions, have them write it down here. Have them text you about it. Have them ask it on the call. But also what we do is we encourage our employees to come up with their own ideas, right? Our accountability coach has ideas about how to make the product better. And I'll teach him a system how to create his own system. So can you write this down? Like as we scale more coaches, as we bring on more coaches to the team, oh, you want to do competitions between all of them with their clients? Cool. Can you write down that idea so that we actually have it in writing? Sweet, right? Oh, you see this wrong with our product? Awesome. Like I'll teach you how to fix it yourself so that next time you can do that yourself, right? And these are the only things that matter. If you're trying to get to 100K a month, right, which I had not personally done, but will stand on business and say that this is the path that I will be taking, right? This is classic Hormozi theory of constraints, simple thinking, right? The constraint to hitting 100K a month at any given time will always be only one of the following, right? Especially in this system, if you're doing a setter, a closer, you're going to be going, okay, I need more leads. Okay, now that I have a ton of leads, I need more team. Okay, like there's always going to be one constraint, right? So these are the only things that we're going to be focused on. And like as an agency, with me and my business partner, like we almost got to 100K a month. We had like 92K in cash collected in 1 month from a couple of fitness clients, right? And we only focused on the things that mattered. So just follow this, like take a screenshot, hang this on your wall, right? Literally, this is the only things that you should be improving. You should not be jumping from one shiny object to another because these are the only things that actually move the needle forward, right? Oh, people aren't showing up on the calls. Okay, how do we make people show up more? Oh, the sales, like no one's converting on the calls. Okay, how do I train the closer to be better, right? Oh, the calendar's not getting filled up. Okay, we need more leads. We need the appointment setter to be better. We need to be sending out emails, right? Like it is all one system, and a system will grow until it hits a constraint. you solve that constraint, and then it keeps growing until it hits another constraint, and on and on and on. That's what business is, right? So as the creator should be making valuable and personal content targeting one person. And you're not selling in your content, right? You can post free lead magnets on your stories to get DMs, set up a ManyChat sequence, and that is how you can feed appointment setters leads all week. You can make one post a week, depending on your audience size, and they have enough leads to work the whole week. And also support the operator, right? Like, be a team player. The operator's gonna have a lot of work to do, and you shouldn't just sit there and go, oh, but I'm the creator, and so it's his job to do everything. Like, why not be involved in your own business? And it goes the same for the operator. The operator can help you make better content. You guys are a team, right? Take responsibility for everything that goes on in your business, even though it's someone else's like direct responsibility, right? Like, it's okay to help everyone in the process. As the operator, you should be creating that DM setting script in ManyChat, which I can make a video on. I would include voice notes of the creator in that script because that makes it so like such a good frame for the leads, right? Wow, this creator is talking to me themselves, like sending me personal voice notes. I can also show you how to do that in ManyChat. Make sure that before you hire these roles, you have the EOD reports, the Notion systems set up before hiring. Like, what do you need them to do daily? Create a report around that so that they're just reporting their KPIs, and then go hire those roles, right? Go on Upwork, go use my job descriptions, go use my interview scripts, and yeah. Again, I would recommend obviously doing high ticket. It's going to be way more worth your time. I would use Fanbasis for high ticket, and you can hit me up if you need a personal connection. I know people inside Fanbasis. They have great rates. They are, actually, they're not going to just like freeze up your money like Stripe has for us. And one thing that we've learned is to always make sure the calendar links work. Like, this will screw up your whole system. You could get like, a bunch of appointments booked, but then no one gets the Zoom link and you've just lost all this time and money. So I would just double, triple, quadruple, quadzillion check that calendar links work. It's literally, there's always some weird shit with that. So just make sure it works. Then when it comes to your employees, right? The appointment setter should be just working the leads and the DMs, doing their script, following up like crazy, right? The money is made in the follow-up, and booking appointments. Like, that's it. Get them booking appointments. The closer should be doing two things. They should be closing, making you money, and two, bam fam, which means book a meeting from a meeting, okay? At the end of their call, they should be booking a meeting from their meeting. Hey, great. So glad you're joining our program. Use this calendar link to book your onboarding call. Don't wait to send them that link in the email, because then it'll be weeks until they schedule that onboarding call. Right when they're on the call, ask them to pull up their calendar and figure out like when to get them on a call. And then the coach. So our coach for fitness, right, is doing daily accountability. They're making sure like the person's logging their workouts and macros and setting reminders. They're doing positive and negative reinforcement. So, great job yesterday, you killed it. Or, what happened yesterday? Like, is there anything I can do to help you, right? And then document improvements. Keep track of things, right? I can go into way more depth on how we actually structure our accountability coaching, but this whole thing applies to most info businesses, right? If you have someone, let's say you're an AI offer thing, you hire some coach that knows a bunch of stuff about AI, and they're just whatever, right? This is a lean team that can easily get you to 100K a month just by improving what each person is doing, right? It's a tight system that you can commit to for a long period of time and just improve, instead of being scatterbrained and changing business models, building these crazy funnels on ClickFunnels. You don't want to be doing that. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I had fun kind of laying all this stuff out because I learned a lot. The systems are probably the most important part, that you're actually making them organized and easy to follow, and you're setting the right expectations. You're interviewing and vetting people properly. you're attracting the right people to your business, and yeah. So with that being said, leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next video.